All right, we are going to jump straight into this. If anyone has not been here before for this is going to be a new kind of content that I have done on my own. I've never done it before. We are going to go over a high roller final table from Scoop 2021. We have some of the best players in the world. Many players that you're going to recognize, some maybe a little bit less so, but Bunga Cat rocking the BBZ logo, many will be familiar with. ICM Boss, Tino Mulder, one of the most aggressive players that you're going to see. Timothy, one Connor B1, my former housemate and all-round top lad. And very first time we have an all-in, it's Drew. A top player is all in. They're out. Biceps knocks a player out. Every player now guaranteed $18,842. Didn't even get to call out all the people. We got Straight Homie, we got D Peters, we got Remy, and we got Biceps. I am doing these final tables somewhat selfishly. The reason I want to go over them is because these are some of the best players in the world. And I feel like I should be watching how they're approaching final tables. So I'm going to do a mixture of streaming these live on Twitch, which we are doing right now. And I'm going to be doing a mixture of having guests. We have some very exciting guests lined up for the week coming. I've got Pon Diddy, one of the top regs in the world. And I also have an exceptionally talented player from the UK who maybe hasn't had the big, massive results yet, but is not far off, Mr. Bradder Wood. If anyone in the chat wants to get interactive, I'm not going to ignore you. We're gonna try and do a little bit. As Flo Sheena says, is this a replay? Yes, it is a replay from a 2021 scoop. As we see Tino versus Timotei. Two unbelievably talented players. Tino with the top pair going into check call mode. My guess is that you value bet Queen 10, right? I don't think it wants to go into check call. Bit better than a bluff catcher. Goes for more than the pot. The high stakes players, you see a lot of the time, they're just betting big. It's tough to compete against, but it's a very, very common thing. Whereas when I'm playing final tables, I'm a little bit more reserved. I'm not gonna lie. As we see D Peters raising, and with Connie having Straight Homie about to go into the big blind off the 5 big blinds, they make the fold with the Jack 6 suited, which is something that you might not expect to see, but I think it's actually pretty standard. And it looks like we are going to see another all-in. It's going to be an open from Timotei, and I just don't see a Straight Homie is going to be able to fold here with the 5 and the 5. They got 5 big blinds. They're the shortest stack. They got pair to pair. They're going to be all in. We're going to see the call. It's King Queen versus the 5s. It's a safe flop. It's a safe turn. It's a safe river. Oh my God, that runs out very quickly. All right. I need to start commentating like I'm commentating on racehorses. I've seen Spraggy do an impression of a racehorse commentator, and maybe I'm going to need to get him live. As Petrov in the chat says, Greenwood never loses a flip. We have seen, look, I don't want to be touching too much on particular players, but we have seen that Greenwood plays pretty fast when it comes to ICM. If anyone remembers him versus Benjamin Spragg in the biggest spot of Spraggy's life, Greenwood got a little bit naughty with the ace 10 suited. Jamie in the chat asking who would you class as the best one of these players. Honestly, I don't play with them enough. My bias would be to Uncanny B1, but I'm sure plenty of people would disagree. That's because, you know, he's my former housemate. So I can't help but root for him. As we see Tino coming in for the raise with the King Jack. Heartbreaking to have to fold Jack 10 suited there. And I think Bunga Cat does cover. It's a min raise. Is going to defend. But these hands do become a little bit more dicey on final tables. I think you're unlikely to see it folded for a min raise at this stack depth, but you just got to be aware. And I'm looking forward to watching how all of the players are going to potentially change their strategies. As we have the young Bowie effect in the house. What is going on, mate? I can't imagine that we're going to see Connie B fold here, but it's not the most fun spot with Ace Queen. We do see the 3-bet, we do see the call. It's Ace Queen versus Ace Queen. It is BBZ coach versus former BBZ student. And obviously, we do get the chop. Not obviously, could have ran it differently. As someone in the chat, AC Doocy says, real question is how you let Connor B1 get better than you. Seems rude of him. Should have held himself back for you. Connie's been better than me for many, many, many years. Oh man, look at this gangster stuff straight away. This is why I want to be watching these final tables. I would imagine that with this stack distribution, Tino is going to be playing. Have we seen 3x click it back lead on 984? We got some gangster stuff going on. And now Tino just has top pair. It's like, all right, well, I guess we're betting all the chips. I guess this is what we're doing. Oh my God, the check. This is too sneaky for my liking. So this went 90k, 150. Lead on 984. Block all in. The boys are playing some cards. So the reason why you'll see very, very, very small 3-bets pre-flop from Timothy in a spot like this is because I would imagine he expects Tino to be incredibly polar. And therefore, 3-betting large isn't usually going to be necessary. But Tino actually has a hand that possibly could have been a shove pre, as we see a little check raise on the turn. This is some gangster stuff. Obviously, we can see the cards here, but I don't think you want to have a jack in your hand here if you're going to be continuing with an 8. I don't think you want to be continuing with an 8. Just whoa, 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 whoa. If we see a check and a bluff and we see a fold, I'm not watching any more of this hand history. I think this is one of those spots where there's just not enough chips left. You got to go all in. Remember when I said I was going to watch these final tables so I could learn what to do? I'm not so sure. I'm not saying that these hands have been played badly, but this is just going to go way over my head potentially. All right, we see the first kind of mad pot of the final table. Tino picks it up to 3.3 million. What does being polar mean? Like polarized. So like in some situations, you might want to be shoving extremely wide, but you don't want to shove the very, very best hands. And you don't want to shove the very, very worst hands. So what you'll do is you'll just shove all the middle stuff. And then when you raise, you usually have like the best hands or you have the worst hands. You don't have that more middling range. I don't know if I'm explaining it the greatest way there. As Petra says, can you play the video at 0.75? I could, but then it's just going to last way longer, right? Like it's already 90 minutes, so I don't think I'm going to. But we have a spot where the chips are almost certainly going to end up all in. D. Peters might not love life because of Connor stack and straight homie, but like this is a premium deluxe flop. I'm a little bit surprised with King 10. We don't see the chips go in. Against the chip leader. Maybe just D. Peters has the king clubs, gonna be able to take some heat, expects Tino to just fire it off and wants to be able to protect their range, and this is maybe one of the best ways they're going to be able to do it. But when I have King 10 on 10-5-4, I would probably play for stacks there. But wins a nice spot anyway, gets up over the 30 big blind mark, and straight homie is going to be shoving the 10s and not getting called. Not a whole lot that's going to be going on here. I can see the want and the reason why you'd want it to be slowed down a little bit. And maybe there'll be some times when I do that, but there's going to be a lot of hands that are garbage as well, right? As we got Timothy sneaking the little raise fall through, I would imagine. And the Peters, will we see them try and sneak in a raise with the King 7 or with Remy with that short stack? Do you just have to fold? Give the opportunity to Remy. King 7, obviously, with no ICM, we're going to raise here every time. I would be pretty tempted to fold in this exact situation with King 7 towards the bottom of our range and just allow Remy to have this spot. As we see the flat call from Bunga Cat. off the ace queen. It's interesting. I'm nowhere near as well versed as Yargo is an ICM. The ICM wizard, I guess, just feels with ace queen. With Tino is a naughty boy. Just like, yeah, I'll have a bet with 8 deuce of hearts. No problem. Ace king 9-9? No bother. Does not pull the trigger again, though. I would imagine we are about to see an all-in, and I don't know if Timotei is going to be able to fold here. Maybe Bunga Cat raises king 5 as a chip leader. I don't think I would raise in this stack setup with king 5 on the button. Tino has a lot of chips and is not afraid to use them. Timothy's on a short stack, so I guess we are going to see the all-in. And all right, well, everything I've said, just ignore it. I don't know what I'm talking about. We see Tino limping, we see Timotei shoving, and we see the exit. We are down to 7 players. I just don't know how much limping you should be doing there with the stacks the way they are. I'm not saying I wouldn't shove ace 9, but I like having some traps is probably fine. But I don't know if you want to trap as wide as ace jack. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm saying I don't know. Like, you very well could. Like, these players, again, way better than me. A lot of it is going to straight over our head. We're not going to have a clue. But I'm going to watch a lot of these final tables and we're going to try and learn. As we see biceps raising up and Mr. Yargo, aka Bunga Cat, flat calling in position. We see a continuation bet from biceps on queen 9-6. Yargo not ready to fold just yet. Going to be peeling one off with the 8s. Biceps probably needs to be very cautious about how many chips go in here. If all of the chips go in by the river, when you're 53 big blinds deep on a board where there's a lot of sets, it's probably not going to go amazingly well for you. And against this size, I think Bunga Cat's probably going to see a river card. Not loving life, but with the pair and the good shot is going to call. And I don't know. Maybe biceps finds like a small blocking bet here, but I don't think you're going to be able to bet large on a 10. Personally, but I could be wrong. I'm not actually as familiar with biceps as a lot of the other players. And now, does Yargo ever bluff? It's kind of hard for Yargo to have a worse hand now. Like, what's going to call twice? Like, are they going to call ace jack? No. So, what's the worst pairs they're going to have? 7s and 8s. So, in terms of bluffs, this might be a hand that we see Yargo bluff. But not going to. I mean, like, I think it makes sense. Like, I think I would check too, but I'm just like trying to think of like where you're going to pull your bluffs from. And I'm not sure. D Peters with the queen 4. It's one of those where like you don't want to shove, but like Remy's the second shortest stack. There's a little bit of pressure. Straight home, he has a 7.4 big blind, so I think I would shove too. A lot of short stacks. I think Remy's going to shove. I think Remy's going to get called. I don't think biceps going to fold here with queen jack, right? I mean, I would call. I might be biased because I can see the cards. I don't think so. We do see the all-in. It is Remy versus biceps. It is queen 8 versus queen jack. And before we even catch our breath, biceps has eliminated Remy Lebo. I can see what you mean about the wanting to slow down the flops, Petrov. It does lose a bit of attention because it's just like bang, 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 bang. But I'm here just to kind of see how they're playing in general. I'm not that concerned. As D Peters comes in for a raise with the 2 short stacks, reasonably brave, but you're not going to see too many top players want to fold king jack when folded to them in the cutoff. And they're just going to get a bet and take it. All right, so we got some legitimate hands. D Peters with the ace king. We might end up seeing a little three-way pot here. Peters is going to raise. I don't think biceps is going to fold. They might three bet and call, but maybe they're going to three bet fold king queen suited. I don't know. Like it's the kind of spot where three bet folding feels criminal, but three bet calling feels a little bit out there. Might be the kind of situation where you can just three bet fold it on the final table a little bit more comfortably, but I would flat call. I know that we talked to Draft Ganger on one of his videos and he says he just doesn't flat call on final tables, but king queen suited, I don't want to be folding. Petrov says nice fold. Yeah, I mean, when they do shove, it's not going to go very well for you. Imagine D Peters is just wagering all the chips here, but like maybe not. Can't three bet call, right? So yeah, this is a thing that you do like see in ICM, and I'm still not good enough at it. Maybe D Peters like uses hands like ace five suited and like shoves them here and then calls the pairs. But against someone as good as Tino, as aggressive, I'd probably pull the trigger with the tens. These are the kind of hands that I should be looking at. Like when we study this, we should then proceed to look it up. And we should find out, is D Peters a genius? The answer is yes to that question, but is he just playing it like a genius here too? Very possibly. Looks like we're just seeing check check. As Patrick says, I'd hate calling the tens free. Yeah, me too, man. But the way the raise calling ranges get constructed, like you might just be better having the ace and just pulling the trigger with that and not going all in with the tens. But I would have been gone. Bowie says gotta be done. Bowie effect in the chat. You call with the tens too. Thought against chip lead we would get away with shoving, and if it was like one of the middling stacks opening and they covered us by like 3 or 4 big blinds, I would have just called. But against chip lead, I would have went all in. But there you go. Bowie effect in the chat letting us know. I think Jack even I call. Damn son. There you go. Let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube whether you would have called that one. Also, do let me know in the comments because this is a new format that we're going to be doing if this is something that you want to see more of. Most of the time I'm going to have guests, but my stream ended really early tonight. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go no delay. I'm going to talk to some people in the chat. We're going to look at some high stakes replays and see how we get on. Pretty nice spot for Tino. Obviously, someone who's going to be very, very aggressive as well. As Sim up in the chat says, I'm loving it. Sim up, if you could just get all of your friends, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Every single person to watch. Eric says, guess or no guess. The final tables are great. Rad says, love this delay. Oh my God. Fuck. All right. I'll tell you what, boys and girls, I'm not streaming poker anymore. I'm just streaming replays. Bowie, send me all your hand histories. I'm just gonna review all of your hand histories for the next 2 years, and then I'll come back as a beast, and I'll know that I've got a flat call Jackson tens. All right. We see biceps flat calling with the queens. See now this queens flat out a small blind. Like I understand this more than the tens. Like I know you can't probably three bet get this in. But in saying that, if you three bet get in against Timo, you're a massive chip leader. So I'm not actually sure. I would probably call here too, but the difference between this pot and the last one is like if D Pierce gets to 2 million chips, he's like 4 chips. It doesn't even change his position. In this situation, if biceps gets queens in against Tino, they've got 4.5 million chips. They've nearly got 2x second. Not quite, but not far off. Yargo with the straight and the flush. Might see biceps bet very, very small with this hand. I don't think it's going to be bet big. We got Zeet in the house. Says, yes, I love a wee replay. Do you want me to do my Scottish accent? Scotland. How would I say I love a wee replay? Give me a Scottish word. Give me a Scottish word to throw in there. Like what's a Scottish slang for good? As we see Bunga Cat, AK Yargo, having a raise, and I don't think biceps going to think about it too long and just going to find a fold. I think we got some bad news for one Connie B1. Biceps obviously not going to be folding. It will be interesting to see whether Biceps just calls, whether Biceps does anything. Because now I think we're going to see Tino come into the pot as well, right? Like, we're pretty deep against Bicep. Do we just call here? Like, I would call. I'll treat myself to a flop. I'll see 3 community cards. I'll try and make a set. Maybe doesn't want to give Connor a very good price on the treble up. Cancel all that. One Connie B1 sees the flop. Thinks he's in dreamland. But is going to get the bad news that Biceps does indeed have the ace and the jack. I think I'd raise ace jack here. Am I an idiot? Maybe. Connie doesn't think he's ever losing. Connie thinks it's done for the lads. Once you see the check on the turn, got some bad news. Connie, $31,900. You're out of there. Biceps wins the pot. Is up to 2.6 million in chips. Let me see Tino with a very, very standard shove. We are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. We've already lost Drew, Timothy, Remy, and 1 Connor B1. Biceps, Bunga Cat, and Tino. There is not a huge amount between them. D Peters has a huge amount of ICM pressure right now because Straight Homie just sitting there with the 5 big blinds. D Peters just can't bust before Straight Homie. It's just not allowed. It's not an option. Just got to be some very disgusting gangster ugly folding going on, which is one of the reasons why you'll see this fold. Now ace deuce off in these ICM situations on the button very regularly will be a fold, but in this stack setup, 100%. Get it gone. It's just a waiting game for Peters. And I think they're going to want to wait for a little bit better than the 10-5. As Rad in the chat says, how many entries to this? True is, mate. I have no idea. This is a final table from a high roller of Scoop from almost a year ago. I have got a bunch of final tables together. We have Scoops, we have EPTs, we have W Coops, we have Winter Series. I'm going to take my time going through the 2 of them, but we see 4s all in versus Straight Homie. It is 4s versus King 7, and the 4s are going to hold. We are down to 4 players. Straight Homie out in 5th. As Foxo in the chat says, Finton, I watched your video on YouTube with Bo yesterday, and now I'm chip leading a $22 final table, which would be my biggest score ever. Thank you for the content. I actually reckon you should say thank you to Bowie. He's in the chat watching, giving his expert opinion on lots of different things. As Ruka says, I'm enjoying this. I hope it becomes a regular part of the stream. It's going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get guests on. I'm going to record them off stream, sometimes on stream, depending on who it is and whether they want to come on. And then what I'm going to do is when I have short sessions where we don't want to just pack in the tail, we want to get on the no delay buzz. That's what I'll do, because this is a nice format to do in no delay. We're just going to see a call here, I think. I haven't seen the action. Has it been checked to the river? It's pretty annoying, isn't it? But Bunga Cat is going to call. But yeah, so that's the plan. We're gonna do this reasonably regularly. What I'm gonna do during Scoop, and I hope people are gonna enjoy this, every single day I'm gonna start my stream by going over a big final table from that week, and then I'm gonna get them up on YouTube. So we're gonna be streaming like 6 days a week as normal. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do commentary of all the big tournaments as they're happening and get them, like, you know, chuck them out on the regular, and that way it will be a nice way to warm up. It'll be a nice way to get into the grind. It'll be a nice way to keep in touch with what the top regs are doing. Maybe we do some study alongside it from time to time, and then we whack them up on YouTube. I think it could be a popular format on YouTube. I'll probably do that without guests, and then at other times we'll have guests. It's just that during WCube, during Scoop, during the big series, it'll be hard for me to get people to commit. But from time to time, if someone wants to come on, maybe like Mason or GJ will want to do it with me, we'll have guests. I'm not going to lie, I love having guests and I love talking to people, but when I'm doing commentary, I actually really enjoy just having the freedom to like kind of spew myself and like try and get there with top process. I would barrel this turn, and I'm not just saying that because we can see D Peters cards. I think that D Peters is going to play for stacks with a lot of good 10s on the flop. I didn't notice the sizing, so I could be wrong in saying that. But with the ace of diamonds and lots of very reasonable cards to bluff the river, I think ace just got to be a barrel. And you're not showing down with ace 8 winning, so bet we do. See Tino opening yet again and utilizing the one big blind bet. I have no idea how you lasted as long as you did. Sorry, I just got a ban for someone in the chat. And yet again, one big blind bet gonna work. It is kind of a game of chicken for the remaining players here, because what can they really do with the Peters? They don't want to be playing massive pots against each other. They can all cause serious damage. I don't imagine that Tino is going to fold here, as we see a king 4 deuce flop 3 ways. Biceps probably wants to bet this flop reasonably wide, and obviously with a very strong top pair, I think we're going to pretty much always see a bet. And there's no way we're seeing a fold. The question is whether we see check call or check raise. I personally think we're mostly going to see check call, but a little bit of check raising as we see it coming in. It'd be pretty gangster if they pull the trigger on that turn card. Wouldn't shock me. Tino! Biceps is in a world of pain. A naughty spot. I'm gonna be honest. I would probably fold in game. I'd just put my little tail between my legs. I'd say, do you know what, Tino? You're too good for me. You're too aggressive. I'm out. Congratulations. Well done. You're a bully. Nobody likes you. Really, really disgusting spot. But once the ace comes on the turn, you start to get way further down. And also, the way that Tino's going to attack the flop, like we might see them use the open-ended straight draw a very reasonable amount. And Tino's going to put the big boy bets in on the river a lot of time, is my guess. I think 6-4 is a reasonable hand to just fold here. As we have the blinds going up to big blind 40,000, means that the Peters is now sitting on the 50 big blind stack. Like I mentioned before, but this is a $5,000 buy-in. Every player right now guaranteed 54,000, just shy of $120,000 for first place. I would imagine, my guess is that all of the players on this table already had major titles, but maybe not. D. Peters with the frustrating Jack 5 off and another frustrating hand. That probably is going to go in the bin. If anyone in the chat does ever have any questions, like, I'm very happy to just like riff and just chat and talk about the final table. But if anyone does have any questions, because obviously we're on no delay right now, I'm not going to ignore them as much as that we want to concentrate and make sure we don't miss anything. I think it's a very, very, very easy shove here for D. Peters. Tino going to be opening super wide. As Java says, I'm currently 5 of 17 in the big 33, and it will also be my biggest score. Can I get a yup the boyos? Interesting if... Well, I wouldn't fold this. Maybe just too afraid of it turning into too much of a nice squeeze spot for Tino, but I wouldn't fold. Especially covering biceps. Might even 3-bet it, to be honest. But maybe I'm just an idiot. It's very possible. I have been known to blast off chips on final tables from time to time. Otto says you up the boyos. Let's go. Alright, we see D. Peters pulling the trigger. 16 big blinds into middle with the 4s. Not a huge amount of ICM pressure, shoving into 3 people. Seems fine to me. We are yet again going to see it folded. Sorry, I actually thought that biceps in the big blind, my bad. Tino doesn't fold the ace-9. Tino's like, do you know what, mate? Little re-raise for you. That's been quite an honest final table so far. There hasn't been too much getting out of line. This is maybe the first kind of close spot for D Peters, but gonna fold. As Radit asks, what is your scream schedule gonna look like this week? So I am going to be streaming Monday. Ooh, let's delete that. We haven't updated that schedule in a while. I'm going to be streaming Monday, Tuesday, which is already done. Next day will be Thursday, and then I will be streaming Saturday. So we're streaming 2 more days this week, which doesn't feel like a lot when you're only on the second day. But it's kind of a regular schedule, just 4 days a week, 1 day making content. Tomorrow I am participating in the BBZ bootcamp, !bootcamp in the chat. Day 1 is completely free. It's almost 10 hours, 9.5 hours of free content tomorrow. Myself, Antonio Esfandiari, Ape Styles, Bungacat, who you see on this very table, is going to be taking you through some ICM principles. No better man. And then young Lucky Fish is going to be coaching as well. So a very exciting lineup. I strongly recommend getting involved, at least for the first day. There's no reason to not. I do think we have a bit of a cooler going down here. Tino with the jacks versus D Peters ace 9. I think D Peters will go all in here now, but maybe more likely to shove like ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, and ace 9 not as much, but we just see the all in. It's ace 9 versus jacks. It is a 9 high flop. It is a 7 on a turn. It's a 10 on the river. Tino is going to accumulate even more chips. One of the best to ever do it. D Peters is out in 4th place, and we are down to 3. Every player guaranteed $70,600. $120,000 for first. And Petrov in the chat says deep now, innit? Yes, it is. And ICM, deep stacks, my specialty. Don't worry. Let's just hope we get the heads up with lots of chips. And the vast majority of the video is them battling heads up. That'll be lots of fun. I'm sure I will cover myself in all sorts of glory. One of the reasons why people don't want me doing these videos as much as they want me playing Tempest and they want me playing Spin and Goes is because I won't react in the same way to the bad beats and stuff. And that's fair. But I find the Tempest just like kind of too basic to do. Like, yeah, I can spit out and do like the 20 all in, but I'm not sure. Petrov says Bunga gets biceps and we play 130 big blind heads up. It's the dream. I'm not sure who it's a dream for. Not for me. I was playing heads up about 20 big blinds deep last night in the 109 Benny Brothers series, and I was playing like I'd never played poker before, fumbling all over the place. I think this is quite ambitious from Yargo to limp with 10-3 off versus Tino. Maybe he doesn't think that Tino's going to isolate wide enough, but like I don't know about that personally. Having watched Tino play some poker. Craig says, have you played any live poker over the last couple of years? The last time I played live poker was... When was the last EPT Prague? Like, in Prague? The last hand of poker I played was me getting slow rolled by Henry Bolero, where I shoved a 8s on a 2K final table, and he had aces. Do you see biceps 3 betting? And Bunga Cat is going for the 4 bet. As Captain says, is there any Spin and Go stuff to watch? Yes, if you go to my YouTube at EasyWithAces, we put up Spin and Go content on the regular. As Bunga Cat elects to call this one. I guess stacks are a little bit more in his favor now. Obviously, D Peters out of there as well. Takes any sort of pressure of playing a big pot out of the equation. And Bunga Cat is going to get involved for a check raise on ace 8-4. I would imagine that we are going to see Bunga Cat threaten stacks on that particular turn. I don't know. Maybe there's less big betting on final table, so like maybe this is correct. But like I would just bet geometric. Like I would just size up a little bit more. But Bunga Cat is a lot better at poker than me, so if that's the size that Bunga Cat's going with, then I don't doubt that it's going to be better. And I think a very reasonable give up. 10 of spades, just not going to be a card that you want to have here at all. As Bruce in the chat says, in my opinion, you should play slower when your head's up and think a little bit more. Nah, I'm good. I'm happy to play quick, mate. I play quick all the time. Like, it's just how I play. It's not going to make any difference, like, in my opinion, if I slow down. If it was like I always played slow and then I got heads up and then start changing the speed, yeah, sure. But I just think it's just how I play, and I'm usually like made my mind up like very, very quickly. The occasional decision I'll take my time, but I'm not that worried about it. I actually don't think that I do too badly in heads up either. I just think that there was a couple of spots that were kind of close. And that's fine. It's all good. There was a couple that I was a little bit frustrated with myself for not knowing like some basic limp 25 big blind spots. Where I had like the H3 suited, and then there was another where I had King 10 off, and I just wasn't sure what to do, and they shoved, and like stuff like that happens, but it's okay. As it looks like we've seen limp check here from biceps. I would just check King Queen. Like I think betting's probably fine, but I don't think I would start betting. Like, yeah, sure, you can be value betting, or maybe you're just like setting it up to like, because you got decent equity, but I would check King Queen on the flop. And with Tino's hand, I think versus a check on a turn, we can probably get away with a small bet here. Wow, that's pretty big on the 8 and the diamond. But obviously just feels biceps never checks back a jack. It's fine. Yeah, no problem, Bruce. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and obviously you're entitled to your opinion. When you're playing like 10 to 20 big blinds deep, there's not a huge amount to think about, though. I'm not saying there's nothing to think about, but it's not a huge amount to think about. There's no ICM to play anymore. You're just playing heads up, shallow stack. Like, it's not that much really to think about. Bunga Cat, I guess, limps here, given that we've seen an attempt already. But Tino, it's an unfortunate situation. Like, you've got the middling stack, you've got Tino on your direct left. You're just gonna have to limp fold quite frequently. And we see a open from Bunga Cat, I think on ace-9 tray versus the button. Like, you're just gonna want to bet range here. Obviously kings would never make sense on this board to bet into a larger size. And turn, I think, can go both ways. Like, you want to bet small sometimes, or not small, sorry, you want to continue sometimes, you want to just check sometimes. I would never do anything other than just call with the ace-9, but I do think the size is kind of face up, but like maybe Bunga Cat does it with a lot of ace-x. Like it's probably the size I would bet too, but I wonder if it's a little bit too obvious. As Bunga Cat does go for the 3 streets, I don't think we're ever going to see bicep bluff here. Pretty tough spot. I don't know if I would find a folding game, but like that small size in the turn, like it's gonna get him paid. I don't think I'd find a fold either, just being honest, but it doesn't feel like the bluffiest line, does it? As Craig in the chat says, you're talking to the guy who won a scoop with a call any check, can't play much quicker. It's big facts. We had to call any check on the river with ace high. Crowd went absolutely wild. I don't think winning my first scoop title will ever be topped by anything else I do. Maybe if I win a scoop or a W Coop main, like that would be about it. But winning that first title with a call any check, that was pretty special. All right, we see Bunga Cat with a hand that we can actually defend and only goes and flops the bloody world. It wouldn't shock me to see Tino checking this hand. I think needs to be pretty respectful on 10-7 tray flush draw. Maybe like bring some check. Do you know what? Maybe an ICM with the stacks where they are like just doesn't actually need to be as respectful as I'm kind of imagining. Oh no, that is absolutely wild stuff. Okay, so This is really interesting because like I would bet way bigger. Like way bigger. This is a disgusting cooler. I don't see a world in which Bunga Cat can fold, no matter what the size is. Maybe if Tino went small, all in. Yeah, like it's just an absolute snap call, and it's starting to turn into a teeny Mueller party. If you're looking for any highlights of videos that I have, we put up YouTube content every day. Any big run that I have, it always goes up on YouTube. Tino up to 179 big blinds, Bicep with the 32 big blinds, and Bunga Cat with the 43. Might use this hand as a 3-bet fold, would be my guess. I think it's a nice candidate. Tino opening an incredible amount, Bicep reasonably capped when you flat out that small blind. So I think it's a nice spot to pick it off, and something that I would definitely be looking to do myself. Just a dreamy spot in it. And Bunga Cat, aka Yargo, not going to be one for passing up spots. Some of the hands on this final table I would actually love to see, like the solution to like that hand with the 3-4. Like I would definitely want to be starting to trend stacks on that turn. But I just get too greedy. And I know. I talk to people that are better than me, that I respect. I'm sure Bowie would even say it. Like you just don't get the bet as big in ICM. But I'm just like, nah, bruh. I want it all. But I also put it all in with bluffs when you already have so much more leverage. And I'm just like, nah, bro, we're playing for the stacks. Bunga Cat just in another situation here where not going to be able to do anything other than call it down. And Tino obviously playing well, but so far on this final table, running very well too. We do see the raise with the king queen, and on ace 7-5 we are going to see a check. I think with top and bottom sometimes you can actually slow play here. I know that sounds like I might just be saying it because of the hands, but I think it's a nice way to protect your range. It's not difficult to get all the chips in across 2 streets still. Obviously you'd want to be betting bigger if it went check. You're definitely going to bet sometimes too. It's just something worth noting. And Biceps going to, you would imagine 3-bet fold. 3-bet call be a little bit out there. Bunga Cat continues to get these reasonably tricky hands. I don't. Okay. I was gonna say I don't know if like we should be limp calling here with 6-5, but I guess just versus the 3x, Yargo thinks getting too good of a price and not willing to fold just yet. And versus check, like so we do see some checking going on. So like Queen 10-9, just that good bit more connected, right? Is a flop that Tino's going to be a little bit more respectful with the bottom pair. And I think we just see this go check. I think it would be incredibly reckless for Bunga Cat to decide to bluff. And I don't like Tino might bet, but like I don't see what he can ever get called by. So I'm not surprised to see the check there. And I think this might be the first time we've seen limp. The only thing that I'd be worried about betting this flop is that because this is the first time we've seen limp from Tino, like this flop's actually going to be better for them than it would be on average. Like if a player is playing a very heavy limp strategy like this, board obviously won't be as good. Tino is just trying to eke out every little bit of value they can get, using the bottom pair as a bet. Especially there seems to be a lot of limping blind versus blind. Yeah, I mean, but it's been just, I think Bicep just hasn't been that aggressive on their buttons, which has just led to Bunga Cat and Tino being left to play. And like Bunga Cat should be playing pure limp versus Tino's stack when they have the second biggest stack for sure, which is obviously reversed slightly now. As far as I'm aware, like I don't think they want to have too many raises. If they do, it's going to be very minimal. So I'm not surprised, but like some of the hands, like It's tough. Obviously, you have to limp fold some hands. Like, you can't just always be limp calling. But some hands like a little bit ambitious. Obviously, we're not going to see fold here. We do see raise. Be interesting to see if Bicep just wants to play for chips right here, right now. Not just yet. 766,000 chips in the middle. I think Dino mostly going to want to check there, right? Like, we're not going to bluff our hand. It's going to be hard to get called by worse. I might be tempted. I mean, Dino can have some hands like possibly 9 deuce suited, potentially maybe Jack deuce that wants to check the turn, but like I'd be starting to feel like I probably want to play for chips on the turn, particularly like King Jack and Queen Jack. This is interesting. Be pretty impressed if we see Tino find a fold here. Just it'd be a very, very disciplined fold. Like less than half pot in a river in a spot where just proper disciplined fold. I think it's good, but in game, like I think that might be difficult to find for me. Just hard for Biceps to have bluffs, right? A lot of the hands that would bluff would probably take off on the turn. You got to be turning something like ace queen into a bluff or something like that, which not sure if that's going to be how the hand is played. I could be wrong though, of course. We do see Yargo getting on the short side though, down to 24 big blinds. So I think ace 4 like might 3-bet none all in here. I could be wrong. It might be just shoved. As J-Max says, how you feel about the bluff check jam there? I don't like it. I know we can see that it might have worked, but I just don't like it. I think if you're going to do it, you want to have a diamond. I think they're not really going to have like super strong hands there, I'll admit. So possibly, but I just don't think I like it. I could be wrong though. I'm just trying to think about it, but I don't think it's something I would do. I don't think so. What's going on here? No protein ball. You want to say hello to YouTube? I don't think you've ever said hello to YouTube.
Have I not?
I don't think you've ever said hello to YouTube.
I've got food in my shop as well.
Oh, there's.
Hello, YouTube. How are you?
This is H. Hello.
I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a nice day. Hope
tell them to subscribe. Tell them that we need everyone to
subscribe to the channel.
And like the video.
And like the video and comment.
Thank you very much. Yes, and then if you do, I might even if we get 1 million comments, I'll do a 6-month series on coaching H-Dog every day. No one is allowed to use bots to buy comments. Thank you very much.
Good idea.
We're on no delay. Look, you can say hello to Petrov. Say hello to Susan. What's the crack?
Hello, everybody.
YouTube people, if you don't like the noise of chewing, please use your volume button. Most computers come with them.
That's Twitch, not YouTube. We're all here together as one big happy family. What's going on here? What are you doing?
Commentary.
Oh, you're watching.
Watching.
You're watching.
It's okay.
Cute for you.
It's okay.
Yeah, all good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for my pancake. Just one pancake on Pancake Tuesday, is it?
Yeah.
Just one on Pancake Tuesday.
Yeah.
A single pancake.
Yes. You said you only wanted one.
No one has ever only wanted one
To be
pancake.
fair, I only had 2.
You had 2.
I had 2.
You had 2 for yourself. I see how it is. No problem. Go, see you later. Close the door on your
I
way out.
had one. The baby
Close the door on your way. Close the door on your way out. Go on.
I think that's fair. I had one. Baby had one.
No.
And
no.
Finton had one.
No.
I think that's the way
I'm
it
in here
works.
slaving away, making sure that baby has
Who brought you in a little protein ball?
making sure that baby has a roof to sleep under.
Honestly.
Petrov said it's not called Pancakes Tuesday.
It's called Pancake Tuesday.
Petrov making some good points.
Good book.
All right, go on. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
I didn't expect a pancake, so I'm very happy with one pancake. I won't lie. Bonus pancake would have been too much to handle. Torino, how did it go with the donuts that arrived home? That's what I want to know if you're still there. We have Bunga Cat and Tino in the pot. 4 to a straight. Don't think you can value bet your 4 here. I could be wrong. Haven't seen the action. I was busy having a domestic about pancakes. That is about as heated as our domestic conversations get, or as our domestic fights get. Very intense stuff. Gotta go to therapy every week because of it. Torino says day 1 is going well. For those wondering why I'm asking Torino, how's it going over there? I'm trying to not eat any sugar for the month of March. Will I fail? Yes. But how long will it take me to fail? That remains to be seen. Bunga in a tough spot. You've got a pair. It's checked to the river. You don't really want to fold. You're against an aggressive player capable of pulling the trigger. You find the fold. You pat yourself on the back when you see the replay. You're very happy with life. Tino is a gangster. Susan, you are not wrong. All right. Terrible flop for Tino, and just going to check. Honestly, I know I said it last time as well, but I would check King 10 sometimes. I just give someone like Tino a little bit of rope. Just here you go, mate. Here you go, mate. Do you want to go for it? You want to start firing some chips in? Let's see it, son. It is looking at this point like Biceps and Bunga Cat are somewhat playing for second place. I mean, 150 big blinds versus 20 big blinds versus the 36 big blinds. Not sure I'm a fan of that, but again, Bunga knows a lot better than me. Xpex in the chat says fold button with an ace. I didn't see what ace was, but if it was a weak offsuit ace X, Biceps is just giving Bunga Cat the opportunity to clash with Tino like this. And once Bunga Cat folds, Tino is going to get to go pretty nuts versus the button open. So I think it's actually quite reasonable. Obviously depends what ace it was. But if it was down to the lower end, I think you'll actually see I think we should see Bunga Cat value bet here. Gotta feel pretty confident. Not. So, when Tino calls pre-flop and then calls the flop, I think the vast majority of the range has showdown value. I think it would be fair to say. And I don't know how much of that showdown value is going to get turned into a bluff. So I think a 9 should probably slide into a bet itself and just use some like ace highs as bluff catchers. But like when you unblock the hands that are going to call there, like I think I would want to bet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just thinks he slow plays too many 10s, but I'm not convinced about that. It's easy to say when you see the hands, right? As we see Biceps getting put in the cage. Trying to have a little sneaky little raise with Jack 10 suited and Tino using the Queen 6. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if Jack 10 suited is going to be a hand that you use there, but it's obviously well identified that Tino's just going to be getting outrageously out of line in this situation and pulling the trigger. I don't know if Jack 10 suits the hand, but nice play, I would say anyway. As we see, Tino leading on Jack 9-4. I would imagine, especially with Tino's stack, you just chalk it up if you don't have the best hand here. You just want to bet geometrically. Obviously, Bunga cannot fold yet. I don't see any reason to shove unless like maybe wants to get called, but like Queen 10, King Queen. But I guess we just see all in and we see fold. Would be my guess. I don't think King Jack is going to be too thin here. Now, obviously, Bunga Cat just standard 12 big blinds. Nothing you can do. Tino's played very well, but also has been smacked in the face by the deck. So Yargo, aka Bunga Cat, just has two decisions: whether they're going to call, whether they're going to shove. I think we'll actually see Tino check this open-ended straight draw on the turn. Just not a spot where you want to bet fold your equity, not really a spot where you want to bet call, not really a spot where you want to shove. So I think it's a pretty nice check. And like this one from Yargo, to me, is a clearer check than the, 10, 9, 5, 5, 5 board. Just because it's becoming more difficult to get called. And man, I don't know. Like we did see a Jack 10 shove, and like I think Tino's gonna want a 3-bet call here. And like Biceps obviously has some more chips now, but we saw them pull the trigger with Jack 10. Like they might be tempted to do 2 hands in a row because just stick it to the man. But obviously, wow. Yargo, I think, is going to get shoved on. Would be my guess. I'm not 100% sure though. Wow. I feel like I'm like watching this. There's just some spots where like I'm still going to be leaking EV and just making mistakes and giving away too many chips. I've always said it. I'm not good enough at ICM. I would guess that in this situation, Biceps might shove the lower ace-x hands before this one. Ace-9, ace-10, ace-8, they kind of just make better call and worse fold. Could be wrong though. Not 100% sure. We got a few bits that we should definitely be looking at, without a doubt. I think this hand we're going to see Tino just close to pure raise, and I would imagine that Bunga Cat is going to be seeing a flop. Tino, you would have guessed, wants to check this one back a lot. It could be tempting to check again, but you probably just need to start putting some chips in. Just betting around 200k. Just hoping that Tino's got enough to hang around, and I think with this hand probably will. I think it's very, very tough to fold, and Bunga Cat's going to be all in. I mean, not having a 7, a 6, a jack, a queen, any diamonds, like, is good for Tino. Also, check back the flop, so, like, might not have much 10x. So, like, maybe they actually call this hand. It's by no means, like, an easy fold. But when the board is so connected, like 10, 9, 8, it's just hard for Yargo to have a hand that's disconnected enough to fire it off. They have, like, Jack 6 suited and Queen 6 suited, but not a huge amount to choose from in terms of bluffs. I don't think they're going to show up with King Queen, like pre-flop that's going in. They're not going to show up obviously with like Ace Jack. They're not going to show up like Ace 6, Ace 7 kind of hands. So might not even want to bluff them. So I actually think it's a pretty astute fold. Like I think it's just a nice hand. Well played. Doesn't matter that like you're reasonably high up in your range. Player's just not going to have enough bluffs. It is what it is. You just fold. You don't worry about it. I wonder how many big blinds Tino would shove here with ace 10 into bicep. Like at what point does it start becoming a shove and not a raise? All questions that I could get the answers to if I cared to find out enough. We do see a call on the 9-7 tray. As Sim Bree says, does anyone know how much money is at stake here? If you look at the very top of the screen, all of the players who were in the tournament and what money is left to play for is up there. Every player right now is guaranteed $70,633. If they get the second, they will have 91,998. And first prize is worth just shy of $120,000. As Bonnie says, did you play this tournament? Don't know. It would depend whether it came before or after my massive score. This is an interesting hand to bluff with ace 10. I'm not surprised that we see a pretty quick call from bicep, but ace 10's like, you block some of the auto folds you're going to have, and also you're just ahead of some stuff. So I'm not sure. As David, 3 months gift subscription courtesy of Love to Right has entered month 3. Oh, Susan, you're outrageously generous. And welcome back, David. Appreciate the support. And how you doing? As Bunker Cat's attempting to get a little limp stab in here. Tino doesn't even want to let them have it with 10-5. But eventually does give up. So it's interesting, right? So a lot of the time when you see the bigger stack in the small blind, you're going to see a lot of raising, especially as the stack gets shorter. But Tino maybe just feeling that like with 52 big blinds, just can't exert enough pressure to want to be playing a pure raise strategy. I would still mostly raise in this situation. But when I see people doing something like this that, again, are better than me, play more aggressive, play higher, like I just think it's worth noting. I think we're going to see Bunga Cat put more chips in the middle. I don't think we're going to see just a call. I think it's going to be an all-in. And I think it's going to be a call from Tino. It's going to be Ace-Jack versus Ace-4. It's Bunga Cat all-in and at risk. Needs a 4 in the river. Does not get it. Our boy Yargo, a.k.a. Bunga Cat, is out of there in third place for just over $70,000. And we are heads up. Tino versus Bicep. $91,000 for both players guaranteed. $120,000 and a very prestigious $5,000 scoop high roller title up for grabs. See the action kicking off straight away. It is 10s coming in for the 3-bet. And Tino defending with the Jack 5 suited. Not ready to fold just yet. Listen, 65 big blind heads up. Your boy Finty, he's got you. Nice trophy too. Do you want me to show you how to scoop trophies? Look, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're asking, Petra? Is that what you want? Obviously, we don't put our crummy fingers on it, but this is how to scoop trophies look. There's one in my mum's and there's one here. I gotta win one so I can give one to my dad as well. This is actually from a 5K scoop title too. Oh, look at that bad boy. Look at that bad boy. Yeah, thought so. You'd never see James Hardigan doing commentary and running away, would you? All right, 65 big blinds. We see the raise. We see the fold. Polish it every night and I don't blame him. Been known to bring it out a few parties. People come in. They're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, just stay there. I'll get my trophy. And they're like, what do you mean? I asked you what your job is. Yeah, I'm about to show you my job. My job gives me trophies. And, you know, sometimes I bring out these ones as well. Do they know what the 109 Monday 6 Max is? No. Have they seen the trophy? Yes. Have they been forced to hold it and take pictures with it standing beside me? That is also a yes. Does anyone ever come back to my house a second time? That's a no. Do I like it that way? If H is listening, then no. If H is not listening, works as a perfect repellent. We're heads up in the 5K. It is King Jack suited versus 4-5 suited. You will notice that all of the cards are blue, which means that if there is lots of blue cards, it is trouble for Tino. And we are going to continue. As Shawnee B's in the chat asks if you got any more games. Negative. I lost about $3,000 tonight, and I didn't want to start the month of March with a very, very short stream. So I said, you know what? I'll do a little bit of commentary. We'll go over some final tables. I have about 40 of these final tables that I'm going to cover over the next couple of months. They're all going to be on YouTube. So if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of them, please do get involved on YouTube. Exclamation mark YouTube in the chat. If you're already watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss the content, do you? As MHT in the chat asks, are you going to play Tempest? There's Tempest on YouTube, but I'm not going to play it tonight. I've already been punished enough. If you actually look up on Pornhub, I'm on the front page today after today's performance. We do see Biceps just locking up on the board. And going for the small bet. And Tino just with a very, very standard call. We see Tino raising with Ace, King, 9. No, they don't have 3 cards. They have 10-5. That is the flop. Petrov says, what is Pornhub? It's where a lot of young and upcoming actors work. I would imagine that they don't find a value bet here, but Tino has found some pretty team value bets and been right pretty much every time. But this does go check. 10, 10, 4. I'm going to try my best to call heads up action, but it's not easy, is it? Tino's a gangster, isn't he? Like, I think Tino wins this pot. I'm calling it. No, never mind. It's kind of interesting to bet, I guess, going to attempt to make a 4-fold by the river. These are some legitimate hands. Like, we could see all the chips go in here. All right. I guess I don't know why I said we could see all the chips go in here. It was always likely to be a flat call. Biceps with the flat call with the ace 9 of spades. Tino going to check on the 7-6-4. I guess a check again. Question is whether Biceps wants to turn her hand into a kind of semi-bluff on the turn. I would not be surprised to see Tino look him up. The reason being is that, like, Biceps is not going to have a lot of straights in this situation, and the size that they're betting is kind of like, oh, yo, I got a straight. They do river top pair, though, and stacks are getting a lot more even. That's exactly what we want. We want the opportunity to commentate on incredibly deep stack heads up poker. So if they could just have Biceps lose a 10 big blind, win a 10 big blind pot. So we're talking 86 big blinds versus 86 big blinds. That's what I want. That's my expertise. Am I lying? That's also a yes. All right. A6 versus A6. This will truly show us who is the more aggressive, better player. This hand right now will determine the winner. I guess we're going to be playing forever because neither player is going to be folding this hand. I won't be surprised to see Tino raise that size just because, like, it's pretty small. But interesting. I would raise this in game. I think. Would I? No, I guess not actually. Wise Bighorn in the chat says, if one of them gets really short stacked, are you going to call Torino for some expert advice? Torino is the short stack king. Don't ever doubt Torino. There's no man, woman, or child that can make 4 big blinds last as long as Torino. So I think Bicep should probably check this turn a decent chunk. So the reason why I think they should check is, like, it's such a disaster when you overbet that turn if you get shoved on. Such a disaster. But they do get the fold. As Warm It Up Mitch in the chat says, Finton, you a beautiful, a bulbous-headed bastard. Bluff them all. Good luck in the upcoming zygote. You'll be a phenomenal dad. Thank you. Thank you. Big bets. Definitely getting called on the turn from Bicep. I don't know what the long tank is about. My soul has left my body. My soul has left my body. Did they check back the flop and fold a pair of straight draw and a flush draw? Did they time out? Because we have Bowie Effect in the house says, I'm on an EPT Sati bubble. You need Torino's expertise. Tell him how to play 4 bigs, Torino. Tell him how to play 4 bigs. Oh, it's a massive cooler. Is this the last hand? Tino's going to be all in. And Bicep might not be folding. This could be it. Does Bicep call? If he does, it's all over. It'd be an insanely impressive fold heads up against such an aggressive player. But we did just see them fold with a pair of flush draw and a straight draw. So I don't know what's going on in this heads up anymore. Wow. Wow. Pretty mad. We do see the fold. I don't have it in me. If I get top pair and heads up in a 3-bet pot, You get all my chips. And you know what? You deserve them as well. They're all yours. Torino says, my 4 big blind masterclass is coming out in August. You see that? He's starting the course right now in March with 4 big blinds, and he'll still have those same 4 big blinds in August. And that's going to be the course. It's just going to be 5 months of watching Torino manage to keep 4 big blinds in one tournament. And let me tell you, it'll be worth every penny. It will not be worth the time that you invest, but it'll be worth every penny. We do see a continuation of the heads up where Tino is back up to 134 big blinds, biceps. Not on a short stack by any stretch, but, down to 38 big blinds. A lot of the momentum can make you feel like it's going a little bit worse than it is. Mixed in a re-raise of Queen 10. Not sure if it's the hand I'd use, but just, putting a little bit of pressure on. And on this board, I think you could check, you can bet. I would probably bet. Tino will mix, but wouldn't surprise me if they do raise. Using the top and bottom yet again. I don't think bicep should bet. Like I just think you should check your hand. Just think you should probably check your hand. So if we see a heart on the river, this is going to be the end. I do not think you should bluff your hand. I do not think you should bluff your hand. Is it because I can see that Tino is a full house? Maybe, but it also just doesn't seem like a great combo. Alright, down to 28 big blinds. As Jabba in the house as I'm 2 of 9 going into a final table. Yup the boyos, we have the Irish national anthem playing. Yeah, yeah, funky, yeah. She was a sexy lady. She had to get her trill. Apparently she was a single lady, but I'm going to tell that single lady she's sexy and to go out there and get her trill. We see a limp. We see a call. Would imagine that biceps might be getting a few chips here. Pretty much never has an ace, right? I think that's a fair assumption to make for the most part. I don't think Tino's bluffing now though. Not on a 6. Unless it is all in, which they might. Alright, another pot going in favor of biceps. Possibly was streaming this on Twitch, going by the avatar. Not entirely familiar with them, I'm going to be completely honest. Aces, that's a good hand. Do we see the trap? Do they have it in them? No. Re-raise. Tino going to check with the ace and the 6. This is a value bet on the turn. I think biceps would bet every better hand. Like, what you repping, prov? You repping like king tree, queen tree? Works, but I don't know about that. I don't. Wait, check back flop raise turn. What are you doing, bro? I think we'll see a lot of checking on this one. Just going to continue with ace-8. Possibly will get sticky, but this might work. It's kind of interesting on the turn. I would be inclined to check my hand, but biceps is going to keep betting. It's obviously a reasonable card for your check raising range. But I think I would check. If it wasn't heads up, it's a little bit different, but range is still wide enough. Wow. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that you're making him fold a huge amount of better hands there, but I could obviously be wrong. Do we see the first 4-bet jam? No. Just let's see a flop. Again, it's that ace-9, isn't it? You're just making them fold the worst hands, like ace-5, like ace-4, and getting called by the better hands. As Tino is going to continue on 10-6 tray. It's a really, really tough hand for me to want to bet again with ace-5. I would definitely be waving the white flag. Question now is whether Tino's ever going to bluff. Question now is whether biceps ever going to bluff. Nah, looks like we're just going to see showdown. Nice hand from Tino. It is down to 34 big blinds. Very standard hand to just defend here, and I think betting's going to be fine. Maybe you want to check sometimes. I would not fold 6-4 to a raise, personally. Pouch says it doesn't look like bicep streams that often. We got Detective Petrov in the chat. Starting to get to the region where we might start to see some shoves. And there it is. First shove over and open. The end is near. Of course, maybe not. Maybe Tino gets coolered. I think Tino's played pretty well. I mean, not surprised. Very aggressive, high stakes reg. Seems to always crush every series. But has ran reasonable well in some spots as well. Another situation where, like, with the ace of clubs, I might be a little bit tempted, but like, I don't love barreling off here. It's interesting and tough for Tino on the turn. It does work though. It's a good flop. This is the one that you just call, right? You got the board locked up. You just don't need to raise. I think everyone knows that one. You flop the full house. We're not raising. We're not putting any more chips in. Bowie, do let us know how that bubble goes. I want to know if it's Bowie and Prague 2.0. Tino just knows. Always. Defense with 6-7. I think ace 10-5 is a board where you might see some of this larger betting coming in. It does. Ooh. This could be it. But ace 10 suited just going to call it positioned. Maybe ace 10 off we will see. Possibly not though. There's 0% chance of a fold on this flop. Wow. I don't have this in me on 10-6 straight with ace 10. Not gonna lie. Don't have it in me. Does Tino have to shove in him? It's his card. Like, if you're gonna raise like the 7, it's your card. Tino doesn't have to shove, but does have the rivered straight. Bicep is going to be check folding. I don't see any world in which you can check call here with ace queen. That would be absolutely insane. Very, very frustrating run out. Bicep down to 22 big blinds. Reasonable little flop here. I wouldn't fold 10-9 to a single bet though. Got 2 upcards, got backdoor straight draw. Obviously bicep not. Ooh. Might see some reasonable bets, reasonably large bets on that river. Bicep just kind of running a little bit bad, and this, it's a hand where they might get a little bit frustrated, but they do make another disciplined fold. Bowie says ship it, congratulations. Bowie's in Prague, I look forward to the updates. We do see a check raise. Definitely not seeing a fold here. I think this hand is going to be good enough to just keep value betting. And Tino's just obviously never folding. If we see a heart, it's all over. Bicep's just never going to be able to get away from the jack of hearts here. Bicep back up to the 27 big blinds. And on ace, queen, 7, we do see half pot bet. Tino not going anywhere. That could make things a little bit tricky. If I'm bicep, like I'm just playing for chips. Our opponent doesn't really have an ace. Tino's going to be well aware of that. So we're just betting. I don't think you need to bet pot though. I think it's given too much of a good chance to get out of jail there. Just bet geometric, yeah. I know there's 2 flush draws on the board, but like it's heads up, ranges are wide. Your opponent just don't think you need to bet that size. But look, what do I know? I'm just an idiot. All right, 25 big blind poker. We're getting more into my comfort zone. And we might be about to get into Tino's comfort zone because Tino flops the single best hand you can have. The nuts, the straight, king, queen, jack, 10, 9. Looks like is going to slow play it. We might see check, check. And then, do you know what we're going to see, boys and girls? I think we're probably about to see an all-in. And I don't think Bicep's going to be able to fold. I think we are about to see Tino win. Okay, doesn't go for it all. I don't know how you fold. You don't fold. You're down to 10 big blinds. It's a Tino show. I would have went all in. I would have been greedy. I'm a greedy man. I like all the chips. Bicep does flop trips. I think it's trouble. I think Tino will just fold, right? No, just call. Oh, sorry, has a good shot, right? We see the all-in. Excuse me. We see the snap fold. It's kings versus the 10-9. Oh, sneaky, sneaky, and that is a disaster. We're going to see a raise on the flop. We're going to see it go all in. We are 13 big blinds deep. It is Tino for the 5K high roller. The $119,000, 826. I think we just play. I think we just play for stacks on the flop with this 10. I don't think we want to be slow playing. I'm a little bit surprised. They might get away from it. Obviously, Tino, I guess, is going to be all in here. I don't think is going to check at this stack spot ratio. Don't want to give them a get out of jail free card. Do we see Bicep make the call with the 10? It's a vile spot. We do see the call, and there is confirmation that Tino Mulder is your champion for $119,000. Biceps gets second place. It was a very, 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 very stacked field. But Tino Mulder jumped out early in front and managed to get the win. I love doing content like this. I love watching the top players play these final tables. If you would like to see more of it, please get in the comments. Let me know. Like the video. And on top of that, if you are new here, hit the subscription button. I'll see you again soon for another video like this. Maybe with a special guest, maybe on my own. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.